Hello and welcome to the media day of the Dynamixx Simracersworld GT Championship, the 5th season of this superb season, and we are very pleased to be covering it on Apex Racing TV and on the iRacing Esports Network for the next 12 weeks or so. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me is Marco Barbonet. Marco, overall, just relief that this season is coming back. It's been a little bit of a wait, 6 weeks or so, I think, since we finished the last championship. And once again, super pleased to bring it back. It's a simple format, this championship, just 1 hour long races. It sounds basic, but it brings so much enjoyment, so much action in this championship, and it's just continued to grow, really like no other league I think we've ever covered.
Absolutely, you are right. Hello everyone. Hello Sam. And yes, so excited for this series to be back. Media Day, we are going to have a lot of nice guests with us in the booth. We are going to cover a 50-minute race as well, non-point race, on beautiful Daytona International Speedway sunrise. So we are going to see the sunrise and shine on this beautiful racetrack. It has been a long wait, not very long in terms of days or weeks, but I couldn't wait for this series to be back. The excitement, the feeling that the series was growing and growing since we started covering it, and now here. I mean, next week the races will count for real, and we will be on the iRacing Esports Network. So certainly excitement for us, excitement for this great league, and let's see what happens, because this is going to be a very interesting race. As per usual, media days they don't tell the whole story, but you can sort of get an idea on where you stand and where you stand in comparison to your competitors. And it's nice to be back in the at the wheel and in the booth after the long period of break between the two seasons.
Yes, absolutely. It's always fantastic to be back once again. We've had a few media days in the UAV8 Supercar series, and we tend to have possibly the best action. It's a bit chaotic. Everyone doesn't really need to be quite so respectful to one another, and so it should, it should toss up some interesting action tonight. Like Michael was saying, a 50-minute race. They'll also have a 10-minute qualifying, but we've got a while to go until that, because we're going to have a bit of a pre-season chat and have some talks with some of the drivers as well. Yeah, first off, Mark, I just wanted to chat a little bit about last season and really what happened in the championship. Of course, in the gold category, it was Martin Manley on his debut season. He absolutely dominated, won almost every single round. But in the silver and the bronze, it was a bit more competitive. The silver, I think it was Davey Witzbols who won out. But he won only maybe 3 out of the 12 races, and in the bronze, we had a bit of a domination, I believe, from the championship winning driver. So hopefully those 3 classes will be just as competitive as they were last season. Hopefully someone will challenge Van Loosenod out in the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, you know, we have seen a great showing by Van Loosenord. He was certainly the new dominator of the series, but the races were always very exciting, and like you said, in the other classes, there was always battle, and I think that the new changes in the rule book will provide for some very entertaining stuff. And also, of course, the drivers who have won the title. Here's one of them, David Fuller, promoted to the silver class after dominating the bronze championship last season. And there has been a change, many changes in fact. One of them, of course, is that now all the points you score will be carried automatically into your class championship. So you won't have the separate races for the bronze, silver, and gold categories. They had a different point system as well. That will not be the case anymore, and we will also see an extension in the qualifying time. It is going to move back to the old 20 minutes that we had in season 3, if I remember correctly, before switching to the 10 minutes of Season 4. The BOP has been scrapped, and there will be some changes also to the starting procedure. If you remember, we had to wait until the green flag dropped last year. Not going to be the case this season. The driver will have control of the starting procedure of the race. And a long calendar. Of course, we start next week, and we will start with a crown jewel of the series, the Spa-Francorchamps event, night into day. All 60-minute races, except for the big one, the finale, as per usual, a 75-minute event in Silverstone. And of course, we will go to the other tracks that are, synonymous with the series. One of them being Brands Hatch. I cannot find Zolder, which I think has been, put into, a break.
Hibernation.
Hibernation after let's say last season it was a bit chaotic, but we're going to visit some of the best tracks in the world. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the first time in the series on the 12th of September. Road America, my favorite track in North America, September the 19th. September 26th we will be in Monza, which is always great. And then Road Atlanta, the Nordschleife, for the first time on October the 10th. Brands Hatch, like I said, October the 17th. Sebring, Circuit of the Americas, then back to Italy for Imola. And then, of course, for the first time ever, the two newest tracks in iRacing, Barcelona on the 14th of November, and like I said, the big season finale in Silverstone to round up the season. So a beautiful calendar. It's beautiful to have all these races in all these different locations, all tracks that we can agree are, historical importance, except for Kota, but we are getting used to Kota as well. And Kota will be day into night, so it's
the Kota bashing has already started. And we're going there in almost 2 months. So I mean, get ready, guys.
I like that
for quite a season.
Kota round is day into night, and it's October 31st, so we will celebrate Halloween. Also, I think Kota doesn't have the lighting system, so it will be properly dark at the end of the race. So perfect setting for an Halloween event. Barcelona will be, of course, and Silverstone. Good to have two new tracks in the schedule, and especially Barcelona will be new for everyone because it is it is yet to be released into our iRacing service. So we were promised. Oh, look at the people in the interview waiting area. So we have a list of drivers and not only drivers we will interview. I say we can start, judging by the program we have been handed to by the beautiful organizers, we can start with Ian Reids, which I think is standing by with Sam.
Yes,
Yep.
we are going to have a chat with Ian Reids. Well, we've already messed up this interview dragging because we've rudely interrupted his conversation. But Ian, the 11th place Reids, great to speak to you once again. I mean, first topic. I mean, you made that rules change to have the points difference, and I mean, clearly you just wanted to get some reward for your 11th places. To be fair. Last season, but that rules change. It should make it a little bit more fair, shouldn't it? And there's a few reasons as well for the series organisers as well to change it around a little bit.
Yes, it's definitely a little bit of a shake-up. Nothing too major. It's a case of let's make it a little bit fair for everybody, regardless of what class you're in, and then make it easier for you guys to work out team points as well on the fly, so that we've got just the standard scores adding to the team and the team and class championships. Yeah, so nothing major. I'm a firm believer in don't change anything if it's working well. The biggest change this season is dropping the BOP, which we tinkered with last season. I think everybody agrees it was the right thing to do. We've got 4 different marks of car on the grid this season, and potentially 55 drivers. So we must be doing something right.
Yes, absolutely. And probably the big question, I think, or the big statement at least, is just how amazing this series has grown. I mean, when you set this up, probably just over 2 years ago, I imagine it was, you couldn't have wished for it to be as spectacular as this upon the 5th season. I mean, yeah, the 55 drivers continues to grow. We've now got 2 leagues as well on the iRacing Esports Network. I mean, it's pretty mad.
Yes, it is an incredible. It's been an incredible rise really over the last 18 months. I've got to thank everybody that's been involved. It's getting bigger by the day. It's yeah, we've 900 members in the community now, which is astonishing. We've got a TCR league, which is coming out very, very soon at the end of the month as well, which we're hoping we're going to create big things with and make big waves in the community. Lots of things on the horizon. It's absolutely mad, and to reach the esports network, obviously, for any league is, I'm sure, the pinnacle for any league. But it's been quite an astonishing rise, but we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all those returning drivers season after season, and the guys behind the scenes that work so hard. Um, they do work so hard to ensure that this happens. It's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. It's a pretty meteoric rise from you guys this season, and just maybe a couple of thoughts about the calendar. We see Zolder isn't on there this season, but once again we kind of see the familiar Brands Hatch and Spa, and also you've kind of mixed it up with the new tracks. Was there any reason why you put the new tracks perhaps near the end of the season? And also a little word on Nordschleife as well. I mean, that's quite a bold step to include that in this championship.
Yeah, we've always had the community and the series drivers involved. We, as admins, we choose several tracks ourselves in the admins and behind the scenes to ensure that there is diversity in the series, but also we open it up the community and they get to choose 5 tracks. So whichever of the 5 tracks gets the biggest vote get into the series. So it's something we've always done and something we will continue to do. It's their choice, so they get to race it. And for the first time, Nordschleife is in there. I'm dreading it, but we've all got to race it. So it should be a good event.
Yes, definitely. And also, just a word on your championship. I believe you're in the silver class this season. I mean, you must be one of the favourites, undoubtedly, for that championship. And it makes a bit of a difference to the gold, where you've gone from trying to score points to, trying to finish top of your class now.
I don't want to burst your bubble, Sam. I need my fan club because I have decided to stick with gold.
Oh no! I
Yeah, yeah.
got the winner's shirt, silver red.
And that is purely because we had 4 drivers, 4 drivers in gold, and obviously only 3 can create a team. So I didn't want somebody not scoring in my team, so I decided to partner up with Seb again this year. So the pair of us will be running in gold, and hopefully this season, because the points are carried through from your finishing position, we'll be able to score some decent points this season for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, that grand that I spent on the shirts feels like a little bit silly now, to be honest. But hopefully, maybe I'll scribble out the silver and put the gold on there instead when you win that championship. Anyway, it'd be great to talk to you. Ian. I don't know if there's anyone else you'd like to just give a shout out to before we start some other interviews or anything anything else you'd like to say about the series.
Yeah, just thank everybody. Really, the response has been phenomenal. There were 19 slots available for the public for this series, and it went in 6 minutes. That speaks for itself. Just all the new drivers, all the new teams that are in. Just enjoy yourselves, have a great season, and let's all talk again in late November when the season's finished.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck for the championship, Ian, and best of luck for the media day as well. I'm sure you'd like to finish quite high up today, so good luck for that.
Thank you very much, guys, and thanks again to Apex for continuing to support us. You've been great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ian. And that's our first interview then complete. Next up, I think we are going to have a chat with Martin Manley. He was second on our list. Yes, he was. Plus team manager of Match. The drivers you can see on your screen, they're lining up in formation. So I think they're meant to go 3 wide and kind of flanking as well on either side. And hopefully we'll get the teams together. Should make for some very good photo opportunities, which will be good, which I'm sure we'll share about on our social media as they actually pull away right now. And Martin Van Lee's not there. He is. I guess we probably shouldn't have a chat with him, Marco, whilst he's driving. But maybe shall we bother him at this point, or I guess we should just appreciate all these drivers coming across the line. And yeah, great to see so many teams once again affiliated with this series, Marco. And I mean, that is quite a swarm of GT3 cars, which we're going to see later on today, racing amongst each other, and for the 12 weeks coming up as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's enjoy this fantastic ride with all the drivers. You can see, actually, there is a Ferrari that is shouldn't be red. Like, I think it's one of the Rev Match Ferraris. Trying to find him in the list. Kevin van der Slick. Maybe he hasn't uploaded his livery yet. I dare try to reload the textures, but I think his livery wasn't in the livery pack. Well, he has 1 week to do so. You know, I really like this Rev Match livery because the rear end of the Ferrari, that is, you know, where the car is black, reminds me of those old Ferraris, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s, the Testarossas, you know, so very beautifully done. But all the liveries, you can see, absolutely stand out. And as per usual, there is a lot of orange, so which we have been used to in this season. Meraki, oh, we have a driver being left behind by the the queue. So let's go to the other Meraki drivers here. Chris Moretta, one of the protagonists of last season. Meraki updating their livery as well. We were talking with Ian Reids. Fury Simsport are also making, I think, their debut in the series. We have known them for their involvement in the MX5 series, of course, on Monday and Tuesdays. Excite, of course, they are back with, I think, just the one entry of Lee Dimmer so far. Our favorite driver, Steve Clace, is also here, racing in the silver class. The news, we've seen him also on Sunday nights. Team GB are back, of course, William Bush, and they have also the other drivers, of course, John Barnes, of course, and the winner, David Fuller, of the bronze category last season. They have updated the livery as well. I love the various colors. The traditional Team Med livery, which I swear hasn't changed in ages. I don't know if you know, it has been in all the series, all the cars, Team Med livery has always been basically the same. You know, just a little bit of changes in colors. I think we also have the Automech team. I don't know if they have a driver in the media day tonight. I will try and also Race Masters, another car with some orange on it. Ronald Moons and Alpine Simsport Lewis Ward, the driver that should come to the interview one of these days, hopefully.
Yes, along with the Ian Reids 11th place fan club, Lewis Ward also has his own contingency following him. So yeah, best luck to him and his teammates. I was having a little bit of a I mean, they're racing a little bit. I mean, there's probably a little bit of pride at stake as they all come into the pits. And now they'll have a few minutes in the pits. I think then they'll go back out onto the track just to do a bit more practice. We've got half an hour until qualifying starts, and we'll have 10-minute qualifying. And then, of course, the 50-minute race as well as everyone comes back to the pits. And I'm sure there are some very good photos. Fantastic trailer as well. I haven't actually watched it yet, for Chaz Jacot has produced. I don't know, did we show it before this broadcast?
We will
Marco?
show it next week, I think.
Right, okay. Of course, our kind of co-commentator, a little bit of a break taking with all his other media stuff going extremely well. Now, of course, we wish him the best of luck with all of that stuff, but still producing some terrific trailers, especially for this series, which you'll be able to watch every single week, of course. We might even share it on our Facebook page, perhaps, as well. The drive's back into the pits, and I guess this would be a pretty good time to have a chat then with Martin Van Loosenhoff, perhaps, or yes, I think we will do. So I'll drag him into another channel so that we don't interrupt his chat, and then we'll drag him into this proper commentary
What a
box.
great
And
idea,
Martin,
Sam.
I know,
How
no one's ever
haven't we
thought
thought
of that.
about it in all these years? I mean...
I mean, I must confess, I've stolen that from Adam Barr. I must. But he's got like a uni degree, which qualifies him to do that in media. Anyway, great to chat to you, Martin. Of course, the defending champion, the gold class defending champion, the overall defending champion, and also the team principal as well of Rev Match Esports. I mean, a lot more pressure and a lot more going on, I guess, than last season when you made your debut.
Yes, definitely, especially with so many guys in the team right now. We've been growing a lot, and also with a car which is, I think, not the fastest on the off the grid. So that's going to be a tough challenge. But yeah, let's see what we can do. Let's see. I hope this is going to be a really nice and competitive season. So I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely, and just talk us through the thinking behind the taking up the Ferrari, because some of the circuits actually looking at it compared to last season, I think there's a few more kind of long straight circuits. Like we've got circuit Gilles Villeneuve, we've got Monza on the calendar, maybe Silverstone as well could be strong for the Ferrari. So I mean, it should be decent this season, but still away from your comfort zone in the Audi.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like the Audi is. Does need a really long straight to be quick, because on the exit of corners, some other cars are just quicker because they have more torque, I think. So yeah, I don't know, and definitely the tracks, and I think especially the track, the Nordschleife, which I'm really looking forward to, is that you want a quick straight line speed car for the back straight, but also really stable car as well. So, and I think the Ferrari is a really stable car. So yeah, it's going to be tough but nice, I think. So
Yeah, definitely will be an awesome 12 weeks coming up, and I guess you got to defend the drivers' championship. You also got to defend the teams' championship. How much I imagine you got a lot of confidence in your teammates, but you must be really pleased with the drivers who are joining you in the Rev Match Racing Esports team this season.
yeah, definitely. I've been carrying the guys for quite a long period. I don't know if carrying is the best word for it, but we've been working together since yeah, like 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 even. So yeah, with people like Danny Cruz driving the Lamborghini sort of GT3 car in real life, Job van Uitert going to Silverstone tomorrow, driving the WEC in the racing team Holland LMP1 car, and yeah, a lot of other guys who are also racing: Steve Clays, Ben Taans, Robin Monster. There's too much to yeah to call. Almost everyone in this team is racing in real life, and that makes it really cool and nice to work with those guys, and you can really push each other harder. So yeah, it's awesome, and I'm really pleased that I've created a team like this, and that everyone is really willing to work hard to achieve something. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, probably the favourites for the championship yourself for the solo championship, and Rev Match Racing Esports for the gold championship as well. yeah, great to chat to you, Martin. And of course, good luck for the media day today. I don't know if you just wanted to give a shout out to anyone else or give some final thoughts on the series.
Um, well, yeah, final thoughts. I think this is the series that I'm looking forward to. So that's what I wanted to say first, because it's organized really good, especially also with the live stewards in there and with you covering it. So that's awesome. And I think every season is going to be better. So yeah, let's make this a great season. And further, I would like to thank my team. I would like to thank Uitert Ultimate Gaming Experience and RB Skillworks for helping us out.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us, Martin, and good luck for this evening.
Thank you, you guys as well.
So that was Martin van Liesnoord, who is the defending champion, of course. Marco, is there anyone you'd like to have a chat with next?
Well, I tell you what, since he is my quote-unquote colleague, I will like to chat later with Peter Growls, but if we want to follow the schedule, I think we'll have a chat first with PJ Clayton, and if you are kind enough to take it, so I can talk with my colleague later for the interview.
Yes, absolutely. We'll have a chat with PJ right now, and yeah, great to chat to you today, PJ. And yeah, just super excited. I imagine you are for this season. Will you win those silver? Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course. Will you be racing this season? Just take us through the stewarding duties as well for the upcoming champion. Oh, sorry, apologies. Of course, driver for Alpine Sim Sport, and of course, moving up to the gold category, I believe as well. So, I mean,
Indeed, yeah.
quite what are your aims for the season in the solo and the teams championship?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Good evening. And yeah, I'm in the Audi R8 for Alpine Sim Sport in Gold class. And I'm not really sure what to expect from it this year, since I'm not really have a good indication where I am pace-wise. So yeah, it's first few races are going to tell me a bit about where I am compared to the rest of the field. I just hope I'm a bit up to pace with Lewis Ward, my teammate for Alpine Sim Sport, who did really great last season, collecting the top 5 positions every race. So yeah, I just hope I'm near him.
Yes, absolutely. I loved Lewis's consistency last year. I think he got 3 consecutive fourths and then 3 consecutive fifths. And then, yeah, as someone who's slightly OCD, I mean, absolutely loved his championship last season.
Exactly.
But going into this year, hopefully you'll be able to match that as well. But even getting on the podium as well, but have you seen much of this championship in the past? Of course, you've seen Lewis race a little bit, but what was it about this championship which kind of attracted you to joining it?
Well, actually, I've been following the series for a few seasons now already. It was actually Thijs van den Bergen who introduced me to the league. He is in the league already for 3 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I started following all the races. It was very nice to see with very good racing. The class system is also very nice with which produces very close racing as well. And yeah, actually it was near the end of last season where Lewis kept luring me into it and trying to get me joining as well. So yeah, he did it, and so yeah, here I am.
Yes, and also in the Audi this season. I believe Lewis was in the Audi last season as well. Is that a car that you and your teammates tend to run in maybe the special events usually?
Um, if it's a GT3 event, we mostly tried to take the Audi. Some of us have been choosing the Mercedes as well, but Lewis and I mostly drive the Audi as well. Mainly we just love it because of the looks and the sound of the car, which is absolutely incredible. It's not the easiest car to drive, but when you get it right and you get a good lap out of it, it's really very nice to drive the car. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So certainly, best luck for that. And of course, the media day today. You were saying how you weren't quite sure how quick you'll be. Of course, you got to take the media day with a pinch of salt, but and especially practice as well in the media day. But you're within 1 second of the fastest drivers at the moment. And do you think you're going to? Do you think today will be a decent judge of your pace? And what are your aims today? Is it just to keep the car clean, or is it to maybe get top 10? What are you aiming for?
Yeah, today is mainly about just keeping the car on the black stuff, really. Not really looking to my pace, as I haven't been able to practice that much this week for this race, and I've been focusing mainly on the Spa race for next week. So yeah, I don't. For me personally, it will not be really a good indication of where I will be pace-wise. I think the first race will be better to see where I'm at.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck for this evening and for the rest of the season, PJ. I don't know if there's anyone else you'd just like to mention or anything you'd just like to talk about the league for a bit.
Well, of course, I want to thank the organizers for the nice organization of the league, also with a very nice tool for all the drivers to yeah register the car. Everything is very well sorted. Also, I would like to thank Lewis for inviting me into the league, and also Thijs van den Bergen for introducing me to the league, which brought me to the point where I'm at now. So yeah, and of course you guys for the nice broadcasts you do every week.
Thank you very much, PJ. That's a little bit of favoritism you've just won yourself for this season. So congratulations on that. And we will see you later this evening in tonight's race.
Okay, cool. Good night.
So that was PJ Clayton, a new driver to the series and team principal of Alpine Sim Sports. Do we have any other interviews we have to get done? Of course, we do have to have a chat with Peter Growls as well, who is the race director for
Okay, you
this
need in
season.
beeld?
And I've just forgotten to put Peter in the other channel. I've sorted out a fantastic system and I just absolutely messed it up. So apologies, Peter, there for
No
interrupting
worries,
your
no worries.
chat.
I thought I was speaking to you guys during the race, so I heard on the broadcast that you guys wanted to speak to me, but
Well, certainly we're speaking now, which is the important thing.
all
And
right, all right.
of course, this coming season, of course, race director and just have a bit of a chat about the kind of stewarding, kind of your duties on this season, and kind of what the kind of driving standards, how they are applied and stuff.
I have to say, we've tried to make things more transparent from season 5 onwards. In season 4, we had more a top-down kind of stewarding style where we made the decisions and people just had to deal with it. But from this season onward, we want to involve the community more into the live stewarding. We want to also do some videos on what we do during races. I intend to drop into the booth during qualifying sessions for the coming season. And well, I have to say the live stewarding has really improved the driving standards during season 4, and we hope to build on that for the next season.
Definitely. So, I'm quite curious myself, to be honest, about the live streaming. So, how do you kind of pick up the incidents that are going out on circuit? Is it kind of just catching maybe if someone has a bit of an incident, or is there any way that the drivers can let you know that maybe they want to appeal something?
If it's kind of standard. We watch the start with Hawkeye, so usually the live stewarding is usually a 2-man job. So one of the stewards will watch the field from about halfway, so about that's P15 or P17, depending on how large the field is for that particular day. But one steward watches the first half of the field, and the other steward watches the last half of the field, and that's how we watch the start. And then from um, from the race onwards, we kind of focus on incidents and how they happen, and we try to make a decision on what penalty should be given. Apart from that, if we miss something, we really rely on the drivers themselves to file a protest if something has happened that we might have missed, because we are also human.
Yes, absolutely. And with 55 odd cars out there, it's pretty much impossible to catch everything. But of course, I believe, Peter, you've been with the series for a few seasons now, and we've already had a chat with Ian about this, but it's quite incredible how it's continued to grow. And I mean, to have two different leagues as well now on the roster, with the Evo League as well on Thursday nights. I mean, it's quite incredible how this championship has grown over the past couple of years.
It is absolutely insane. We've to accommodate people. We've had, of course, the Pro League, which is broadcasted, but we have so much interest into the league that we have. The Evo League was kind of something that we had to do to facilitate everybody that was interested in Simracersworld. And the Evo League is a kind of a mirror league of the Pro League that is held on Thursday, and yeah, we've already got like 30 people or so that want to participate in the Evo League, so it's absolutely insane. And apart from that, we also have Andrew Hopley, who is going to facilitate the TCR League. That's been planned behind the scenes. We wanted to hit the ground running to facilitate the league once the Audi was released, to immediately have a league for the TCR to hit the ground running and immediately have something to facilitate that car, because it's of course being hyped around iRacing, and once it comes out, we immediately have something to give the drivers.
Yes, definitely, and certainly I might even join that one. I'm not quite sure. Certainly, I'll do
I
some.
might join that one as well. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I mean, as a commentator, I don't usually race because I am far worse than my commentary. So, and my
Yeah, I know
commentary
what
is
you
not
mean.
even that good. And so, you do not want to see me out on circuit. And sorry to drag Marco into this as well, but I don't think you want to see Marco out on circuit either, must add. But been great to chat to you, Peter. And before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank? Any shout outs you'd like to give, or anything else you'd like to mention?
Well, I have to say, everybody in the team of the admins, we are a well-oiled machine, so to speak. We all have our tasks. I'm with the live stewarding, and of course Andy is with the TCR League. Ian is kind of a bit of the main guy in the GT League, and everybody does is his thing. And we have such a great group of guys, which are very constructive, and it's really been an awesome time since I joined Simracersworld. So pretty much everybody of the admin team makes this all possible.
Thanks for having a chat with us, Peter, and giving us a bit of an insight about the stewarding of the series. And
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
I'll drop by sometimes, maybe during the qualifying sessions when the live stewarding isn't really applying, and during the season you'll see me every now and then coming into the booth, because as I first said, we want to give some more transparency and be a bit more open in the league.
absolutely. Well, yeah, hopefully we'll see you later on in the season, Peter, and thanks for having a chat with us.
Okay, see you later, guys. Okay, bye bye.
So that was Peter Growls having
Thanks for
a
stealing my
chat with us
interview,
there.
I thought we were friends.
Oh no! Oh, sorry. Oh dear. I mean,
I'm getting out of here now. Goodbye, guys.
I mean, we've got 12 weeks to do this, Marco. I mean, you can't have a grudge on me before the season even starts. I mean, oh dear. I'm really sorry actually, because I got totally confused. I just thought, okay, we've got to get this interview done with Peter Growls, and well, I mean, if there's any compensation, Marco, is there anyone else you'd like to have a chat with?
We have a long list of drivers. I think we'll get them after the race. Just, want to concentrate a bit on the practice, which is almost over. We have basically we have 8 minutes and a bit of change left. And I'm seeing some interesting stuff. For example, the debutant, Chris Warner for Fury Simsport, has been at the top of the timing table since the beginning of the session, and no one has been able to get past him. Dion Phillips is in second place, changing teams because last season he was racing for another team, which I don't remember the name now, but you surely will. And Marvin
I've got
Amans,
an Excite livery on him.
he changed the teams, I think, mid-season. He went to
Right.
another team, and then, you know, nice to have Marvin Amans back. Always one of our favorite interactions on Sunday nights in the chat during the British GT. By the way, I have to tell you, I didn't tell you, but the reverse grid process was smooth as butter on Sunday. I'm very proud of myself.
I mean, I saw that, to be fair, and I was super impressed. I had faith in you, Marco, all the way.
There's terror, you know, because you never know if you got it right until the race starts. So.
Oh yes, yeah. And when you're commentating as well at the same time, it's quite easy to have a quiver in your voice. So you wait for everyone to line up. 7 more minutes of practice to go, and then we'll have 10 minutes of qualifying, of course. And yeah, of course, it's Daytona. So
yeah, in the interest of fairness, I think it's going to be a closed qualifying, 10 minutes and maximum of 2 laps. So as soon as the 10 minutes are over, it's straight into the race session, just like what happens in British GT. So, you know, it's a good decision for this particular racetrack because you know, drafting is a bit of a problem here. That is not going to be the case during the season. 20 minutes open qualifying session, and Kevin van der Slick now jumps into 7th place with his red Ferrari, which I think is not going to be red when the season comes. By the way, look at the... I mean, it's been out for a while, but this is the new and improved Daytona International Raceway. As you can see, there have been some changes to the structures. We might enjoy it from the onboard of Chris Warner, maybe, if the camera is pointing at the new quote-unquote new, it's like Silverstone new, you know, it's been there for a few years now. The new grandstand, and which is absolutely beautiful, and also the removal of the infield, of the backstretch grandstand, which gave way to basically massive billboards. You know, sadly that is a sign of the times, not going too good for NASCAR. They have been removing the backstretch grandstands in many racetracks, including Daytona and Talladega. Nice to have it finally here. I don't know if you know this, but this version of Daytona, the paid version, the new version of Daytona, they only rescanned the oval. This is the original scan of the road course, superimposed on the new scan of Daytona, which is available for free in the in the racing service, and you can tell it straight away that the oval has been changed because the old Daytona oval was the bumpiest oval I think I can ever imagine. And now we are on the backstretch with the leader, and you can see there is no more grandstand in the backstretch. There is only these massive billboards, which of course at least they put something in there. But yeah. The racetrack is still the 2007 scan, which hasn't changed a lot, so you can get away with it. But, you know, different to the old Daytona, this one has night lighting enabled, and that's why I think we are racing here. Also because it's not nice to race with these cars on that bumpy oval. I mean, it's tough as it is right now with smooth surface, so I cannot imagine how tough it is driving, you know, this massive field of 43 cars very close to each other on a bumpy super speedway.
Yes, yeah, quite a pain, I imagine, to have to deal with that. I feel slightly ripped off, to be honest, now that I found that out, Marco. But because, yeah, I mean, I've never raced even the new oval, to be honest, around Daytona.
Well, if you want to be more disappointed, go read in the chat, because people are very, very angry with you.
I mean, clearly, Bart is not best pleased, and I mean, we all want Marco, to be honest. But well, there you go. You're gonna have to put up with me for the next 12 weeks, unfortunately. 3 more minutes, by the way, left in practice until we get this media day underway. And currently, Marco, of course, it's difficult. We're making assumptions out of the practice of the media day, which is pretty much like making assumptions from pre-season testing in Formula One. But Chris Warner, a new driver to the series, and he's currently top of the drivers. So, I mean, maybe quite a challenger for the race win. Martin Manley's not only in 5th place. I say only, I mean, you know, it's not bad, and he's only 2/10 off the fastest time in the session. But I mean, if pre-season testing is anything to judge by, I mean, it looks pretty close at the top.
Yeah, I'm looking at the drivers. If I don't know if you remember Danny Cruz from the Formula Renault 3.5 series we broadcasted, and also I'm a big fan of TCR racing in real life, and he was the 2nd place driver in the 2017 TCR International Series, winning many races, and certainly one of the quickest younger drivers, only aged 19, and we have a field of real-life drivers that will be racing with us this season. There will be 9 real-life racing drivers, including, a former winner of the 24-hour of Le Mans in the LMP2. Of course, I'm talking about Martin Plowman, who I don't want to be biased, but it's always a pleasure when he does well, because he speaks perfect Italian. And we've had Italian interviews when he raced in the MX5 Monday Cup in the past. Much to my surprise, because I didn't know that. It's nice to have such a big representation of real-life drivers coming in to race in the championship. And I'm reading from the Media Day PDF, so you know this is official information provided by the organizers. There is one thing in which Ian Reids is the number 1. He's the oldest driver in the field, 51 years old, whilst Danny Cruz, the aforementioned Danny Cruz, is the youngest at 19. So a big spread also of ages in this championship, and it's beautiful to see.
Yes, definitely. The average age, of course, 35. I don't know if that's the median or the mean, but yeah, that's the average age out there. And then, yeah, 22 Mercedes, 7 Ferraris, 9 BMWs, 17 Audis. I mean, I think you could scan a lot of iRacing GT3 leagues or GTE leagues, and I don't think you'd ever find quite a balance of cars. It's absolutely terrific, and that really means that some drivers are going to be quick in some rounds, and other drivers are going to be quick at others. Of course, this is a very low downforce circuit. Maybe the Ferrari will be the strongest. I'm not quite sure what the deal with the BOP at the moment is, but I've known over the past year or so that it's been available, the Ferrari that's usually pretty good at the end of the straights. Practice is over, by the way. We are into qualifying. So this is a solo qualifying session, of course. And so the drivers will not be interrupted by one another. Certainly a wise decision taken by the organisers there. And they get 2 laps to put in a time.
And I think I found my favorite livery for the new season. James Obden with this beautiful Smurf blue colored livery for Abruzzi Esports. Absolutely beautiful. And he's the first driver on track tonight for the qualifying session. Anton Dupin also for Simracersworld is on the track. Basically almost everyone is on the track. 10 minutes is quite a lot of time, but you know, you only have 2 laps, so you have to be spot on with your qualifying. Not an easy place to get an off track, you have to really work for it, but that chicane on the backstretch at the bus stop can really be your demise. If you take it a little bit too happily, you end up getting an off track, and that's your lap ruined. Basically everyone on the track. Ben Thames also here on the racetrack. Bot Boland, we haven't talked about him, but he is here as well. Our colleague Tyler Lugo-Vickery is here as well for Apex Racing TV. Another orange car, sporting the new logo, by the way, which will be coming soon on all of your broadcasts in a couple of weeks' time when the new season comes for iRacing. And I'm very excited because it looks very, very good.
Yes, definitely. Also, of course, yeah, Barcelona joining the service as well. As the drivers completing their outlets will yeah, start this new lap for them. Of course, they can't cut the bus stop. Would gain a bit of time if you did that. You'd gain a few more kilometers an hour when you cross the line, but otherwise you get a slowdown. But it is very important they absolutely nailed this one, as Neil Cooper is doing currently the gold number 75 driver, another newbie to the series. And he will be on his way to set this next time. But interesting starts as well here, Marco. It's so tight. And I mean, we've got a lot of drivers out on the circuit today. And this is a tough way to start off the season. I realise a lot of these drivers are back from previous seasons, but these newbies who maybe don't quite have this experience in large GTP fields, going into turn one is going to be quite a test.
And one of the toughest turn ones I think you can have in all of iRacing, especially when you go there with a rolling start, of course. And it's a big choke point. Luckily, there is a lot of runoff area on the right, but still, it's very, very tough. One of the scariest turn ones for me in an endurance race is the first corner at Daytona. It's always, I think, one of the scariest moments of the year for me, at least. And hopefully, these guys will navigate through it, in a orderly fashion, because you can really ruin your race. No fast repairs, of course, so you want to keep your car as clean as, and you want to have a clean car because it is certainly helpful on the straights and in the draft. As the laps are coming through, let's see, Van Loosenord only in second place, and then we have in the first position right now is Chris Warner. Here come the other drivers, Van Oitert, Phillips, Mans. We're going to see a lot of activity down on the left hand side of the screen as the drivers are coming through, as the laps continue to slot in. Moons also. Leader of the silver drivers is Nick Schurmans, and leader of the bronze is Dries Mushti, one of the veterans of the series.
Yes, he got maybe one win, I think, last season in the bronze category. I think it may have been at Brands Hatch. Not 100% sure about that, but it certainly was a crazy Brands Hatch match. Evening to finish off the season. Have plenty of incidents, particularly in the silver and the bronze categories. Are we going to see the same thing today? Martin Manley currently not on pole position. He got a lots of them, safe to say, last season. He's got to gain 3.5 tenths of a second if he's going to take pole against Chris Warner. A 41.65 is currently the benchmark for him. Pretty good through the chicane, or through the bus stop, apologies. As Marco was saying, it's very easy to pick up a 1x, which will invalidate your time. Van Liesner, I'm sure, will stay as far to the left of the circuit as possible, take the shortest route to the line, gain any 100th or 1000th of a second that you possibly can. Will he even use the apron? Not sure if the drivers are fully allowed to. He doesn't take it, isn't good enough for pole position. Martin Van Liesner crosses the line, and it's not an improvement. I think he was pretty much set the exact... Oh, sorry, he was 2 tenths faster, I believe, for Van Liesnod on that second lap.
Yes,
he
improved, but not enough.
Yes, so car number 1 in second place at the moment behind Chris Warner. Currently, no one really gets in particularly close to Warner. Good time for Kevin van der Slik. He moves up into 4th place. Remember, these are all the drivers' second laps. This is all or nothing. Ryan Holmes, great to see him out there. Had a couple of close finishes in the BSR MX-5 yesterday, and I think he improves on that lap of 42.17. So yeah, up in 6th place. So nice time there for Brian Holmes. Plenty of action. Neil Cooper moves up into 13th place ahead of Lewis Ward, who now moves up into 7th. And Tyler Lugo Vickery a little bit further down the order in 30th place. So I think that's the majority of the drivers across. Still, to be fair, a couple of drivers still yet to complete their second lap time. Bod Boland, of course, he finished second place in this championship in Season 3. just crossing the line, and Chris Moretto as well, his Meraki teammates. And Moretto puts himself in 21st place. According to my screen marker, that's pretty much everyone across. As Ian Reids, he's got silver by his name, but as he told us, he is a gold driver. But hopefully we'll be able to challenge for some podiums as the season goes on. Already got a couple as the seasons have gone by. And yes, this is his second lap to complete, nice and tidy again. And he'll be hoping to be somewhere around his Simracersworld GT teammates.
Yes, here he comes in NASCAR 3 and 4. Still without a valid lap time is Ian Reids. Same goes for Ben Muse, who's just in front of him. So let's see where they slot. Muse P30 and Reids P24. So a tough start of the season for the boss. Far away from his traditional places. But you know, it's
What,
media
11?
day. I didn't say that.
So sorry, I'm going over the top perhaps with that joke, but Ian was very close to scoring a lot of points, but no, this season with the new point system should be a little bit higher up the standings.
As we are waiting for the drivers to finish their lap times, I think Ben Muse is the only driver who has only it was still a lap that will be useful for him, and Ben Thanes as well, as he comes home, not good enough. So we are just waiting for Ben Muse basically.
Yep, leaving us to to wait, see what he can deliver.
Champion of the what was then called the amateur class in season 3, and
Season 2, I believe. I think that was the first broadcast we ever covered, wasn't it?
Wasn't it season 2? Season 2, you're right.
Yes, I got something right. Yeah, the NASCAR 3 and 4 for Ben Mears. Finished 6th, I think, in that race. But yeah, scored really well through the championship. That's the first ever race we broadcasted on Apex Racing TV at Spa. What can he do at Daytona? He crosses the line and sets a 43.25. He's in 28th place and I believe 7th place out of the silver drivers. And that is everyone across. Everyone else, I believe, is even in the pits. So we might even, yeah, we've just got a minute or so to go until we'll get the until we get the grid on your screens. But at the top, it's Chris Warner once again, Marco. He's backed up that practice pace that he seemed to possess. But it's ever so close behind him. Martin Manley is not in second place. I'm sure Danny Crows and Kevin van der Slik will also be very strong for both Match Racing Esports.
And despite the sun rising from the horizon, track temperature still a reasonable 25 degrees. So these drivers won't have too many problems dealing with their tire wear, I think, through the race. So yes, I think we can get through the starting grid for this much awaited media day.
Yes, of course, one pit stop tonight, 55% fuel limit for these drivers, so they should be able to get to about maybe half an hour or so into the race, maybe a little bit further than that, but 50 minutes for them to complete. On pole position is Chris Warner with Martin Manley not alongside him on the front row. 1.5 tenths of a second between those two in qualifying. Danny Crows and Kevin van der Slik, the teammates, starts in 3rd and 4th with Job Van Utrecht in 5th. That's Brian Holmes, Lewis Ward, Dion Phillips, Marvin Amont, and Nick Sherman. So, I mean, look at that top 10. Some not bad drivers, certainly. PJ Clayton's in his debut starts in 11th with Tom Methel in 12th. Then it's David Fuller, of course, bronze class defending champion, but is in the silver class today, and he's actually in 2nd place out of the silver dress. So, certainly a very good debut for him. Ewan Marshall starts in 14th place, followed by Neil Cooper, Jeez Mujdi, who's top of the bronze drivers. Bod Boland, Anton Dupin, Chris Miles, Ronald Moons, Chris Moretta, Seb Herbert, Rob Thiessen, Ian Reids, Gregory Vranks, John Barnes, Matthias de Tiege, and then it's Ben Mears, Ben Thanes, Stuart Musselwhite, Robbie Boschoms, William Bush, Tyler Lugo Vickery, Thijs Berg, James Hobden, John McConville, Pim Bow, Jochen Lennartz, Stephen Kastrop, and then the drivers who did not set times were Steve Clays, Lee Deemer, Stephen DeWolf, and Scott Malcolm. Hopefully, a few of them will take the start. We should have 43 drivers potentially on this grid. And Marco, whilst it's not the start of the proper season, I mean, there's still a lot of excitement. It's our first glance at Season 5. And I mean, just great to see this series back, and I'm sure this race is going to be very entertaining.
I'm so excited. I am so excited. Finally we are back. And yes, just a non-championship event, but still we are in for 50 minutes of pure fun here in Daytona. What a perfect venue, with the sun rising, the curtains also rising on the new season. I feel poetic tonight.
Nice, very appropriate words, no doubt. And yeah, that's the sun should rise. We should have slightly hotter track temperature as the 50 minutes go by. Here we are then. 4 seasons of the Sim Racers World GT Series have been complete, and the media day for Season 5 is about to get underway. It's debutant Chris Warner on pole position. He's got a lot of Rev Match Racing esports drivers right on his tail. The Porsche safety car is about to pull into the pit. It's Warner who can decide when he goes. Away we go. The green flag is out, and it's Warner who's got to jump on the rest of the field straight away. Van Loosnod and Kroes are side by side for second and third. Good start for Ward, getting straight past Holmes. Can Kroes get past Van Loosnod straight away, straight past his steering? Nicely done for the Audi driver there. A little bit of side-by-side further down the order, but on the most part, the drivers not missing their braking points and very nicely through the opening few corners. Van Utrecht going past Kevin van der Slik, once again teammates down there. Ward gets ahead of Holmes. Amont gets 1 place gained. Clayton's up a couple of places. Bad start though for Ben Mears. He's down a couple of places into 30th.
Clean and nice start from everyone, as we have some issues here in the back. See a guy dropping several positions. I think he's Jochen Lennartz, going very slow, some damage to his car. But apart from that, very clean start.
So I was just going to say Mujdi as well.
Yeah.
A little bit of instant. So shame for him, and of course you do not want to get damage early on in these Daytona races, because you can see how much of a slipstream fest this circuit is. We saw this in the UV8 Supercar Series just a few weeks ago, with drivers having to fuel save, but none of them could pull away from one another, and that's what we're seeing so far. Just big trains. Phillips though across the grass, surely that's going to be a slowdown. Oh, it is, and he's going to drop way down the order now. Super shame for Dion Phillips. That's going to cost him, I mean, at least 10 places, I reckon, as he falls down the order. So shame for him, and shame for his teammates as well, because that's Rev Match Racing Esports domination of the top 10 put on hold.
Yeah, you don't want to get a slowdown in the first few laps, and especially around here. This is going to be very costly for himself, and with the whole group tied together, tight, as we have some 3 wide action here at the first corner. Mercedes, BMW and Audi, and behind them, carrying the wall, it's Gregory Ranks, one of the series mainstays.
So Franks with heavy damage. He looks as though he's going to try to get back underway. Here he is then side by side with an Audi Rev Match driver. And they're just going to... Oh, well, he's loaded it by himself, to be honest. Just getting on that gravel. It's a slightly unique kind of surface there, which you go across when you're trying to take that racing line. And in fact, he has had to go back to the pit, so he'll be frustrated with that. But of course, he's got next week perhaps to redeem himself. He'll be very glad that this does not count for any points, at least for the season. But issues for him, no issues for Chris Warner, though. He is dominating at the moment. 9/10 of a second clear of Danny Crows. These GT3 cars don't have a massive slipstream effect, certainly much weaker than they had a few years ago. But he's 8/10 of a second ahead, Mark. And looking down the straights, I mean, Danny Crows is making barely any imprint on him.
Yeah, absolutely. And the drivers trying to make their comeback. Marvin and Mons trying to get the best of Brian Holmes in NASCAR 3 and 4. Now on the front stretch, but in front of them, Danny Crows. Oh, Danny Crows was having some connection issues, as we have two ref match teammates. Yes, different liveries, but these drivers are teammates. And that is Van der Slick having the best, as we have Anton Dupin in the wrong portion of the racetrack. And back into the proper racing line, almost 3 wide. Tyler Vickery there parked near the barriers. It's all kicking off here in Daytona. I tell you what, these drivers are not pulling punches, even though it's just a media day. They are certainly racing with a purpose, and getting a little bit of rust out of their systems in the first race, non-point racing this year.
Yeah, certainly seems to be the case. The teammates as well here, not helping each other too much. Kevin Van Steek and Job Van Utert, because they'll probably be better just to stay in line. But, they are having a battle, almighty, and maybe to the inside here goes Van Utert. He lost his position just before on the last lap, has to back out of it. Van der Steek much more confident on the outside, but you can see how the drivers behind getting involved. A little bit of a slide for the Ferrari now, but that's just going to hurt, if anything, the Audi, because he can't quite get the momentum up before they head onto the oval. And having that trouble of having to go so much further if you are up high on the oval. There's a little bit more speed, though, as they come across the line or approaching the line. The drivers behind fighting one another a little bit too much, with Mons getting past Holmes and Ward, and Clayton's in there as well. Looks like Van der Steek will hang on to 4th place for now. But behind these guys, Mons now up 3 places from his start into 6th.
Van Loosener got the jump on his teammate as well. And now he's up to 2nd place, the number 1 car. And Ronald Moons is having some issues. And straight into the pits, so something must have happened. And Steve Kastrop is going the wrong way as well.
Oh, and another Simracersworld driver as well. Maybe just waiting for him. Maybe an incident between these two.
Certainly a lot of cars in a very little space. They were heading into the first corner. Oh! But that was not Ronald Moons. What happened to Ronald? That's a different accident. Lost the car. And into the wall. He escaped very quickly. He didn't want to stay in the middle of the racing line. That's good awareness.
Yes, we should see him back out on circuit then quite soon. Might even... No, he won't be. I was about to say, might even be able to get his pit stop done, but no, we're only on lap 4 of this race. We've got far too much longer in this race before he can make it to the end on 1 tank of fuel. Danny Crows were in the slipstream of his teammate. They have lost 1.5 seconds to Chris Warner. They realise that they're not going to fight one another, because, I mean, that would be really silly as they, well, go past. That seemed very orchestrated. Crows straight past, and now side by side again between Van Utert and Van der Slick. Now Amont has really caught up to these two drivers. Of course, driving for Rev Match himself is Amont. So, I mean, I think this might be a sight that we see quite often, Marco, through the season. We see it in the VSR MX-5, where we've got Swift Cooper and Excite iRacing drivers dominating the top positions. I think this season we're going to see a lots of Rev Match Racing esports drivers in amongst the top 10.
Absolutely, as by the way, Steven the Wolf comes in and out of the pits. Yes, especially the Rev Match guys have come in big numbers this season, and look at that, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. So, but they will have to use these, they will have to learn how to work together, get the best out of their numbers. Oh, Nick Schurmans.
Ooh.
Sorry, Tom Methrel. Tom Methrel is in the wall. And off.
He was running as high as maybe 12th place, I believe, was Tom Metcalf, 12th place. Who was that in front of him?
It was one of the Fury. It was Neil Cooper.
Right.
I think Neil had to brake to avoid the wall. Let's see. Yeah, he had a moment and got it from behind. Sadly, wrong place at the wrong time for the both of them, as Danny Cruz goes back in front of Martin van Loosenord. But still, Warner is faster than the both of them.
Yeah, it seems to have everyone in his pocket at the moment, 3.5 tenths of a second faster on that last lap. He's just lost a little bit of time as well through that second corner. I mean, I guess this is the difficulty when your teammates. I mean, Craze and Van Loosenord, they need to work out who's the faster out of the two of them. I'm sure they've done plenty of practice for this race, but they can't quite decide who should be the lead runner out here. Although they will be saving each other a little bit of fuel at the moment, which is a bit of an advantage. Might be able to go one lap further on fuel than the race leader, which could help them later on as they knock the cones from to the side of the circuit. Don't want to pick up one of them, of course, otherwise it really does kill your straight line speed.
And look who's in first in the silver class. A driver that has been in first in the bronze class for basically the entirety of the season, except when he was on vacation. It's David Fuller, and he's already putting his mark on the silver class, leading the way in front of Nick Schurmans, who is not that far behind. And the third driver is Chris Miles, also for Team GP. Leader in the bronze is Robert Bouchons, who I think forgot to remove the wireframe from his livery. It can happen, I feel his pain.
Yeah, but doing a great job on his debut, I believe, for Robbie, leader of the bronze drivers. Oh, the Wolf with contact. A multiple race winner last season in the silver category. He's still in that silver category and undoubtedly one of the favourites out there as he goes to the inside of the team mad driver. I mean, that BMW is small. I think if it was any other car, I don't think it would have quite fit through that gap. However, it's also not the fastest car down the straight, and so DeWolf might just struggle down here. Ever so close between these two drivers. Scott Malcolm just ahead of him and having to back out of it in the end is DeWolf with just Ben Thanes trying to get past him on the outside way off the circuit, and DeWolf almost loses it, nearly hits the Rev Match driver as well. Absolute chaos going into turn one, and somehow they barely lose any time.
Yes, all seems good. Ooh.
Oh dear.
You know, the age-old question of should you fight drivers that are not in your class? Well, this season you really should, because now that the classes don't have their points, they're dedicated to point system, but you get basically the points that you get for the overall. Yes, you really need to defend, you know, your position from drivers in the other class. So, because the more positions you put in front between yourself and your other rivals in your class, the more points you get in your class championship. As Brian Holmes is in a very precarious position, victim of the dreaded chicane, I think.
He was running in 8th place, was Brian Holmes, and you can see how he was fighting with the drivers ahead. I think he just gained a couple of places actually, maybe even been in 6th place when this happened. Over rotation, and I mean, anyone who's done the Daytona 24 hours, I imagine you've either been involved in that crash, that type of crash, or seen it as you speed on by. It's such a common mistake here at Daytona, as the rear end just loses a bit of grip with these drivers running so little rear wing, of course, bound to get a little bit of oversteer. The rear of the car going light, and yeah, it's really fallen victim there. Ian Reids up 9 places so far. He's in 15th, and he might even gain another place here as he tries to get past Chris Miles. Miles, will he lift out of this one? Going into this next very quick corner. No, it's Reids who lifts out of it in the end. Now got to be careful from the Meraki driver just behind of Chris Moretta, of course. But I think, well, at the moment, they're all compromising each other's lines. It's going to be an interesting run down to the bus stop, I imagine, with Moretta having a terrific run at these two.
Jump on board with him and see the speedometer as Moretta goes through the gears and losing a bit of ground in the final corner of the infield. Now we have the best seat in the house to see what is Ian Reids going to do with the Team GP driver. They are side by side as they head for the bus stop.
Moretta needs to be careful, wants to get a good run out of this. Reids staying alongside. Moretta just having to lift up a bit. Now can he find the inside going onto the oval? No, he just has to compromise his exit. They've got Seb Herbert and Matthias de Tige now on these guys' tails, and Herbert seems to be closing in on these guys quite quickly. And Miles now 5.5 seconds off the next driver of Bod Bowden, so they're really losing a lot of time. And it's going to turn into a 5-car train imminently. Reids has spent an entire lap trying to get past. Now around the outside into turn 1, he's very wide. Will he have the opportunity to get back onto the circuit and fast around the outside? No, has to stay behind us, Ian Reids, and struggling to get past at the moment the Team GP driver.
Yeah, very close calls there. A lot of Simracersworld drivers in the same battle. The race leader is about to get into some lap traffic. He is about to get Dries Mushti for Dynamixx, but let's go back to this fight here because nice to see teammates running different cars, even though technically not in the same team because Simracersworld Esports for the Tige, Simracersworld Pro for Eber, but yeah, same team regardless. And also side-by-side action for P11, Phillips and Marshall, two of the veterans of the series.
Phillips down 3 places from his starts. But he got a slowdown, I believe, on the opening lap, didn't he? Yes. So he has actually done really well to recover. He was down into 19th place, I believe, was Dion Phillips. So lost out massively. Here comes Marshall there. That's lots of speed in his Mercedes. And should have a lot more momentum going on to the straight part of the oval. They've got Bod Bowden just behind as well, and another Iraqi racing driver. Should be the Audi on the inside with the better line going into turn 1 as they move on to lap 10 of this race. And he will cover off that position, will Dion Phillips. So he's moved up into 11th place now. And he's got Nick Sherman's next up the road, 2.5 seconds ahead.
And you know, Sam, it's a constant of this race when two drivers are battling. There's always a third party coming usually from behind, because the more you fight, the more you slow yourself down, and especially on a track like this with the long straights, you tend to lose a lot of time by fighting. And it won't be uncommon tonight to see two drivers battle and then a third driver coming through and getting both positions.
Yeah, you could see that for the rest of the season, particularly around here, of course, when you got such a tight middle part of the lap. Pim Bao back to the pits. Seen a little bit of him in the British GT series on a Sunday evening. So an issue for him out there.
I was having already some issues. Then when you hit those yellow thingies, there you go. It's never a good thing. There goes the engine, and there goes this race, unfortunately. A thingies is, by the way, a technical term to describe those monstrosities on the inside of the pit exit.
Of course, thanks for everyone who's tuned in so far. Unfortunately, we will not be live broadcasting this series for the rest of the season on this channel. You're going to have to subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network if you want to see this series over the next 12 weeks. So certainly do that. Maybe not now. Well, actually, no, you can probably do it whilst you're watching anyway. So subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network, and then every Wednesday night you can see these races when the season starts proper. Dion Phillips, we were really crediting how well he was getting through the field. He's wedged in the tyre barrier. Couldn't drag his car away. The rear wheels of that Audi seemingly stuck in that rubber. And this is how it happened with car number 18, Ewan Marshall, who's got away from this unscathed. And Phillips, well, such a common mistake that, losing the rear and just getting well, I mean that's an iRacing glitch, and unfortunately we're not on the iRacing Esports network tonight because we can say that that
Oh
shouldn't
yes.
happen.
Oh yes, we have to watch her language.
Yes, I'm always very hesitant whenever doing World GT or
Oh well, of course you're used to
MX5.
it, to the bright lights of the
Yes.
iRacing Esports network. So
Whenever I say something slightly against iRacing, I have to do a bit of promotion for them instead. Counteract it with something. Marvin and Mons in a battle. A driver who had a terrific start to last season. Unfortunately, we didn't see him much after about round 4 of the championship. But no doubt it's going to be a driver who's going to pick up podiums this season. But a little bit further down than he'd like, in 9th place at the moment. David Fuller, I mean, considering that he was a bronze driver a few weeks ago. I mean, up in 8th place overall. Incredible drive from him at the moment. A Monster's going to go round the outside. Certainly, safe to say, Fuller's used to having to fight drivers from a different class. Almost tapping round the Ferrari driver there. It should be a Monster with a much better line going into the hairpin. Now, all of a sudden on the outside is Fuller. He's going to lose another place to the Simracersworld driver of Clayton's. Oh, sorry, I don't believe Clayton's is.
it's
Sorry,
Schurman's.
apologies.
Oh, and Fuller
Oh,
is
wow.
out. Off, not
dear.
out. So Schurman's got the lead in his class, passing with Fuller, and next corner, Fuller completely jinxed by Sam, loses the car and another place. So now from first to third, his teammate Chris Miles jumps into second place. Let's see what happened, because he went very wide to avoid any kind of issues there, and then a very strange mistake, especially for a car with traction control, you know. But good for him, no damage, so he can go back on track. But certainly he will not be happy with himself, losing the lead and second place straight away, and now down to third, having to cover a lot of ground.
Yes, I think that's the first commentator's curse of the season. So good to see that out of the way. I'm sure Marco will have quite numerous ones as the season goes on, as if we've learned anything from our broadcasts in the past. Ian Reids, I mean, he's just taking this all in, and it's slowly going about his way. I mean, we haven't seen him make loads of overtakes. No offense to him, I don't think he's necessarily the fastest driver out there to gain 11 places, but with all the issues going on around him, he's just slowly got his way up, and he's up into 13th place. Next up for him, Chris Miles. But Fuller is only 0.3 of a second behind us as we ride on board with him. This turn 1 is so difficult. I mean, for me personally, it's one of the most difficult corners in all of iRacing, and when we've seen it in the World GT Championship in the past as well, just some of the best drivers in the world, still struggling with it massively, and we've seen issues there as well today. Fuller alongside, straight away trying to make up that move, where he spun on the last lap, but we'll have to wait probably until we get onto the oval part of the lap to get past the series organizer.
Fuller, a man on a mission, of course, wants to make amends for his mistake. Not used to making mistakes, and I think he can take away. We still have half an hour, a bit less than that to go. Take away from these first few minutes that he has the pace to be competitive. Of course, there are some drivers missing tonight, but still, this is a very good representation of the field he's going to face week in and week out, as we have a slow car there, which I think is a lapped car. Yes. I think he can be very confident because he has the pace. I mean, he showed last season the pace as well to fight with the leading silver drivers. So certainly, a mistake. It's better to make a mistake today than to make it next week. Let's put it this way.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's Cheese usually that these drivers were just lapping there. He's had a few issues, about 8 laps down, but still going about his way. Fuller. Straight past Boots. Hopefully we'll have a chat with David later on. Along with any of the drivers, of course. Hopefully there's like a link to our Discord I'm sure a lot of the Jazz already joined to it. So if anyone's watching this back, certainly every week we love hearing from you guys. If there's a lot of you joining the Discord server to ask for interviews, we might not be able to get through all of you, but it's always fascinating to see the narratives of your racers, and it gives us a little bit more information as well. So I can appreciate this series that bit more. I'm sure it's interesting to the viewers as well. Lee Demon, the only Excite iRacing driver out on the field. Unfortunately, he's had to go back to the pits, although you can probably get to the end of the race from here at a push.
He was pushing hard, so no damage for him, so I think it is a scheduled stop for him. Very easy to get a penalty here, by the way, and he's coming out of the pits. So yes, concerning the interviews, I will just say it now. I still have to eat my dinner.
Yes.
It's 10:30.
Wow. Yeah. Gee, what? Why, okay? You had plenty of time. I mean, why wasn't 8:30 good enough for you?
I was recording a podcast this late afternoon.
Ah, fair enough. Anything planned for tea?
No comment.
I would say I would be stereotypical and say pasta, but I wouldn't be all that surprised. Had a nice Chinese actually today. Anyway, Bod Boland, don't know what he's had for tea. Maybe for dinner, I mean. Apologies. Maybe if he joins us for a chat later on, he might well tell us. He is on the tail of his teammate currently of Euromush. Also, Mars has just got past Fuller. Well, they're battling one another. These two are teammates for Team GB Esports.
Fuller back into second place.
Yes.
Oh, Danny Cruz is dropping. And this time it's not his connection, it's his car. He's off in what I think is the first corner. Car seems to be relatively okay. Oh no, it's... Oh, no. Oh, not a good rejoin there for Danny. That was the last corner of the infield. Let's watch it again. Not the best of regions there, I have to say. So here we go. He goes straight on, clips the wall, which is not ideal, of course.
Must have been a brake failure, surely. There, that was very odd.
Stewards will have to take a look at that, I think, as Cruz is in for repairs. So David Fuller already in front of his teammate straight away, and now his next target will be the new leader of the silver class, Nick Shermans. He's sitting in 8th place overall, so 2 positions ahead. Here he is with a good cushion. And in between then there's Iwan Marshall with his Meraki Racing Mercedes. But our race leader, which we haven't talked about too much because he's been all alone at the front all this time, Chris Warner for Fury Simsport, making a very good first impression to all of us here at ApexRacingTV in the booth, and I think also to his fellow rivals and to the viewers.
He is being caught though by Martin Manley. He's not half a second faster. Was Van Liesnold on that last lap. Warner certainly had the legs in the early stages, but since Van Liesnold's in the past maybe 7 or 8 laps, I think he's slowly caught that gap back up. And Matt Van Liesnold might have a little bit more fuel after nipping a slipstream from Crows in the early stages of this race. But very difficult to call, of course. Not do all or end all between these two drivers. This is the media day of Season 5 of the Simracersworld GT Championship. But I'm sure they would like to kind of get the first battle amongst these two. One, of course, these guys I doubt have ever raced against each other unless they've maybe raced in the VRS GT Sprint Series or the Endurance Series. So could well have a bit of a rivalry already stewing before the season starts. A few drivers into the pits, Fuller, Harbour and Moretta.
Yes, all together.
Harbour,
And Dupan as well.
All different teams as well. So drivers can't go very fast. I mean, I don't know about you, Mark. I would have thought with 55% fuel they could get maybe to the 33-minute mark, but seemingly not.
No, apparently not. No, now we'll have to see how the drivers from the slid pack here will react. I think a mistake for Lewis Ward. So a little bit of dirt being kicked up.
Yeah, he has just lost that place to Clayton's.
Ward is the car in front of him. In front of... oh yeah, could have been a lot worse, tell you what.
Seemingly these drivers struggling to get off the corners of it. Like you said earlier on, Marco, these drivers do have traction control, but they won't probably turn up all the way. They'll want to have a little bit of a wheel spin, just so that they've got that little bit more feel. Usually a little bit faster if you do it like that, but at the same time, of course, much more risky. Chris Warner into the pits. Van Loosenod stayed out, so he was saving fuel behind Danny Cruz, and I wouldn't be surprised if Van Loosenod is one of the few drivers to stay out. We've got Ben Utertz, Van der Slick, Ward, Amont, Shermans, Marshall, all into the pits, and I reckon there's going to be a lot more. The only drivers so far who have stayed out are Martin Van Loosenod and Peter Jan Claessens.
Pit stop time, cone to cone, around 40 seconds. So we'll see no penalties, it seems, for none of the top drivers. 43.2 for Warner, 41.2 Van der Slick, 42.2 for Van Uytert, 44.43 for Ward. So all good stops. Bit slower was Warner than anyone else, but it's important not to get a penalty. And now let's see where will Van Loosenord pop out after his pit stop.
Yeah, a couple of seconds longer in his pit stall actually was Warner. Maybe having to take some extra fuel due to the fact that he's been punching his own hole into the air for the entire day so far. And so that might just be what Martin Manley needs in order to take the lead. Remember, he was 2 seconds behind coming into the pits. Can he take advantage of a slightly shorter pit stop? You'd fully expect him to come into the pits this time round. He's certainly gesturing that way, and there he goes into the pits. Van der Slick was second out of the drivers who have pitted. I think he may have even got ahead of Van Uytert during all of that. Clayton's also coming into the pits. Steven de Wolf, I think, is towed back to the pits. So issues for the silver driver.
I think he has disconnected or dropped from the session because he's not in the session anymore. So, moment of truth for the race lead. Here comes Warner. Can have an idea maybe from the blimp. Van Loosenord is here. No, he's not in the picture. Okay, this is better. We should see a black and green car. Here he comes. Van Loosenord is already out of the pit lane, off the limiter. Oh, this is gonna be close. Van Loosenord jumps and goes into the race lead then.
Yep, he had 2 seconds shorter in his pit stall, and he's 1.4 seconds ahead. So definitely that was enough. Also with a good in-lap, I think, to be fair. I think he also gained about a second on that in-lap compared to Warner's out-lap. And so it is Martin Van Loosenord, the defending champion, into the lead, and Warner's going to have to set a couple of stellar laps now if he's going to get into that slipstream range. If he was just 0.8 of a second behind Van Loosenord, I think he'd feel pretty confident that he could stay in the slipstream and fight him later on. But due to it being 1.5 seconds at the moment, he's going to have to make up that gap by himself. He's not going to have the draft to help him out, seemingly. Like I said, Van der Slick ahead of Van Uytert. I believe that was a change of position in the pits. Clayton's up into 5th place now overall, with Ward in 6th, then it's Julian, then it's Marvin, Julian, Mont, Nick Jones top of the Silver Jazz, Ewan Marshall, and David Fuller rounding out the top 10.
Okay, now we might see, a fight here. It would be interesting. Let's see if Warner can close the gap to the leader, like you were saying, as the two teammates here. It's media day. You can afford to go a little bit more aggressive. So this Ferrari is of the right color of Revmatch Esports UGX. This one is the wrong color. It's red Ferrari, of course, no? But I think it will be properly colored next week. With all these cars they had to paint at Revmatch Esports. Maybe they ran out of money or something, or they forgot.
Didn't they have a run of changing their livery 4 weeks in a row?
I mean,
the Renault 3.5 championship.
Yeah, and if you remember in the GT, in the British GT, Van Loosner changed car 3 times in 3 races, so having to paint an Audi, a McLaren, and then a Ferrari.
I was actually doing the standings for the British GT Championship, and safe to say, hasn't gone Van Loosenor's way. Was the favourite going into the championship, but even without his penalty, I mean, he's got 118 points, 100 points of penalties though, due to changing his car twice, and so that's not helped him, and he's still 100 points off from the championship lead anyway. Without that, a pretty crazy league.
Yeah,
It's a little bit more basic with just the 1 hour, no reverse grids.
He really paid the price for the car change and disaster of a round in Brands Hatch,
Yes.
where he was a bit
Either
unlucky.
were his fault.
Yeah. Danny Cruz in the pits, repairing his car. And issues for Chris Miles. And he's not the only one. There's Stuart Musselwhite doing donuts in the grass. So something must have happened.
Bit of context for the drivers ahead, I think, already. Oh, wow, and it was a weird rejoin. Musselwhite. Oh, well,
what was that?
just a tap there. He was doing absolutely everything he could to avoid, but I think a little bit of netcode, if anything, just being the final blow. And Musselwhite, with an incident that he had nothing to do with, gets involved. Dupan was the driver down the inside. Not sure who he was fighting with.
That was
Loses
Miles.
the car. Miles, okay. Thanks,
Oh, bad luck there.
Oh, loads of netcode on that second one as well.
Do you think it's netcode, or do you think he bounced on the outside? Because I think his car bounced on the...
Oh, maybe.
on the concrete of the curb. Let's see, maybe from the chopper, once again.
I think that was netcode.
Yeah.
Personally.
Next week is the bump on the outside, but this week it's netcode. If you know what I mean.
Yes. No, I'm not sure.
We cannot say netcode on the Racing Esports network.
Oh, okay. You're absolutely right. Yes. And then, well, to counteract
you should
that,
know
I'd
better, huh? Because you have been there for a few months now. I think they're going to banish us from the Racing Esports network if they listen to this broadcast.
I mean, I wonder how much we can push it. Probably not worth the risk.
No.
I don't think the bosses of Apex, the supreme overlords of Apex Racing TV, would be best pleased, seeing that we've now got 3 broadcasts on there. So, I mean, subscribe for this series, but also check out Monday and Tuesday nights as well, in the World GT and the BSI MX5 Pro Series as well on a Tuesday evening. And also, we might even have the a new TCR league as well broadcasted on a Thursday evening.
Is that public domain now? Because I kept teasing this past weeks about the TCR.
The series has been announced,
okay.
but it's not confirmed whether or not we'll be on the iRacing Esports network.
Okay.
Judging by this broadcast, probably not.
And of course tomorrow then the end of an era, of course, with the final race of the BSRTC with the Kia, and the final race of the BSRTC overall. Big changes for that series as well. Car names. Sam will be the new steward, I think, for that series. So
Yes. Along with, we might also have another person as well,
okay,
helping me out.
good luck because it's going to
I'm
be.
definitely going to need.
I'm expecting a lot of sign-ups and a lot of excitement in those races.
Yeah, I've already got, I think, something like 75 sign-ups.
And if you
So,
really want to follow, this series or the MX5 Pro or the War GT on our channels, you can do so because we are simultaneously streaming those races on our Twitch page as well. So, if you really want to follow that on our channels, but we shouldn't say
our
that. I mean,
Facebook page.
after this, we are never going to be on the esports network.
No.
Nice fight here. These two guys have been close with each other all race long. The teammates, Van der Slick, another driver who raced in the Renault 3.5 series, and Van Neutert. They are fighting quite closely as all of a sudden we are almost into the final 10 minutes of the race. The cloud cover has jumped back onto the racetrack, so track is getting, I think, a bit... let's see the track temperature, by the way, to see if it has dropped. It was 25 degrees, if I'm not mistaken, when we started the race, the race proper. Let's see now the weather situation. Yeah, 22 degrees the track temperature, 23 right now as we speak. So it's dropping a bit and helping these drivers as it's 8:55 in the morning, so still pretty early. It's the 15th of May, of course.
I got far too excited when it changed from 22 degrees to 23 degrees. It's like when you're waiting for a clock to change the time and you always look away and you never actually see it. But now we witnessed that. Yeah, Vanuta then three tenths of a second behind. They need to make sure that they don't fight, of course, otherwise Clayton's for Alpine Sim Sport will be involved. And the Alpine Sim Sport's going to be one of the favourites for this championship. Undoubtedly, Red Match, I think, are the favourites for this. But as we saw from Meraki last season, I mean, they were very close to winning the title, despite, I don't think, having any drivers in the top 3 positions in the championship by the end. But they were just finishing kind of 4th, 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th as well, pretty much every single race. So managed to really grind it out. So Alpine Sim Sports running in 5th and 6th places currently. If they can back that up for the next 12 rounds of the championship, they're certainly going to take away a decent haul of points. Matthias de Teach.
Ian Reids putting on a show for us. That's why he qualified in the back, because he wanted to put on a show. He's making many overtakes. Still around the 9 to 10 places gained, but always in the mix tonight. And having a good run, P15, so 9 places gained by Ian.
I mean, if he could finish 11th, that would be absolutely superb for him. Maybe we'll have a chat with him later on, though of course we had a chat with him earlier on as well, but it would still be good to... Oh, Fuller, his second spin. And he's not liking those horseshoes by any means, as David Fuller. He will remain in second place out of the silver category, but he's long way behind Nick Sherman's now, 20 seconds behind Nick Sherman's almost from the lead. And he's down into 13th place behind Matthias de Teach, just ahead of Ian Reids. And this happened. Looks like it's going to be another soft spin. Is it going to be on traction, though, again? No, it's actually on turn-in. Loses the car quite early. And maybe just not quite comfortable with that setup, seemingly. Maybe the low downforce on the rear of the car that really hurts him a bit. As we have change of position for 3rd and 4th. In fact, maintaining position.
Okay, so guys, keep swap drafting, if that's the term we can use on a road course. Danny Cross, despite some damage, is still going strong and knocking on the doors of the top 10. Trying to get past Sebastian Eberer. 8 minutes left in this race, so we are really in the closing stages. Some argy-bargy there, Cross gets the move done, and that is a lapped car. So all excited and then it's a lapped car, and it's Dion Phillips. He's having a tough race, but like I said, better to have a tough race today than next week.
Yes. It's Spa next week,
Yes.
isn't it? Yes. Good way to start the season. I mean, it was the season finale, I think, for a couple of championships, but season opener. I think it may have been season opener even last season as well. Thinking about it, not quite sure. Always a great race though at Spa. Tej fighting with Fuller then. He's having to make his way back up. I imagine he's already overtaken Tej in this race. It might even be the third time he's had to overtake him.
You still have many critics in the chat, by the way, huh?
Oh dear. Oh, sorry. Bolens. He finished third overall last season. Apologies, God. And of course, he finished second place the season before. So I'm doubting Meraki, and apologies.
I've always been a big fan of Meraki racing, eh? So.
Yes. Fuller's already got ahead of these drivers then, so he was down in maybe 13th place, but he's got past Matthias de Tej, and he's yeah, back up there. But it's got quite a long way to catch up to the drivers ahead, 4 seconds, and despite the fact that despite the pace that Fuller has exhibited today, I'm not quite sure if he's going to have enough laps to reel that gap in.
By the way, at the front of the pack, you can see Martin van Loosenord stopped playing games and started pushing 4.7 seconds over Chris Warner. So, you know, a good demonstration of speed and force, and you know, not force, that is Italian. A good demonstration of you know, good performance with his car. Really a good showing there for him, and he has just 5 minutes left to go. This fight here, absolutely crazy. And just to give you an update, the silver class we know, Schurmans is the leader. The bronze class, Robbie Duchamps, I think that's the way you say that name, if he's of French or if that is a name with French background. Hopefully he comes for an interview. And we can ask, as we have some drama there, Ian Reids and Chris Moretta. Ian getting closer and closer to his rivals there at the front. Give a quick shout out to these bronze drivers. Here they are. They are all together, first, second, together, all close to each other in the track, and one after the other in the standings. Steve Kastrop in second, third is Scott Malcolm, and behind him in fourth, Rob Thiessen. So, very close fight indeed for the bronze podium.
Little shout out to Scott Malcolm, because he drives a lot of different cars, does Scott Malcolm, from the Kia. I imagine he'll be driving the TCR car as well when it comes out. The Mazda
Oh dear.
drives. Oh, I mean, come on. David Fuller. He will be, I mean, this is 10 minutes shorter than most races, but I don't think he made this many mistakes for the entirety of last season. He's got a lot of pace.
He didn't make a single mistake tonight until you praised him.
I mean, yeah. So I'll take responsibility.
But does a media day course work? Count? I don't think it does.
I mean, hopefully that's all the curse towards David Fuller done for the season. Crows battling Herbert. I haven't talked much about Herbert, to be honest, but changed car as well. He was in the Ferrari last season and had a really good final round of the championship, if I recall correctly. He finished at Grand Hatch, I believe, in 7th place, and that was by like his first top 10 of the season. So no, he's having a decent run again. Is Herbert in the top 10 against this star-studded field?
John McColby, we haven't talked about him as well, but nice to have him in the grid again. P18 for Simracersworld. So let's see where the race leader is, because we have 47 minutes and a bit more on the clock, so I think it's safe to say that next time Martin van Loosener comes across the start-finish line, it will be the white flag. So it has been, you know, a tough, I mean, very close first part of the race for him, but he played it right, saving fuel. It has been the way to go in the past, you know, sometimes waiting a bit, saving fuel, and getting the jump in the pits, and it worked tonight for Martin. So as he comes through NASCAR 3 and 4, we should see, well, we won't, because I've been told that this flagman here is on a strike as well, concerning the white flags. He will display the checkered flag, I've been told. But yeah, time to wave the white flag. Sale la Blanca here in Daytona.
Of course, certainly like the Facebook, the ApexRacingTV Facebook page have got quite a funny Marshall's thing posted on there on Monday, so keep your eyes out on that. Side by side between Kevin van der Slick round the outside in the in his Ferrari. This is where it comes down. No more team orders for these two. Off the circuit goes Van der Slick, having to almost take evasive action of his teammates. No doubt these guys will be talking to one another. He's still got time, as Van der Slick, to get this position back, either on the run to the bus stop or potentially on the run to the line as well. 2 seconds back to Clayton, who has been closing steadily since the pit stop, but looks like he's going to be a couple of laps short. This will be an interesting test to see how quick the Ferrari is down the straights, if he can overtake him into the bus stop. This is the closest battle amongst the top 10 drivers.
Another close battle in here, but we have to focus on this one, because this will be the final step on the podium. It will go to Ref Match Esports, but which one of these drivers will take it as heading for the bus stop chicane? No way these two guys are catching the leaders. Warner in second, and about to win this race, Martin van Loosener.
Yep, car number 1 on the media day for Season 5 of the Simracersworld GT Series, and it's Van Loosener who wins. Looks as though that race win was in jeopardy at half stage, but he executed the strategy perfectly, and he had enough to win. Van der Slick has already got ahead of Van Uitert. Is there time for Van Uitert to catch up? There is not. The Audi just lacking some legs onto the run to the line. The rest of the top 10 not too close to one another. No super tight battles across the line, but Roots maybe can make it close between himself and Chris Moretta on the run to the line. This for 13th and 14th places. Roots, who has had a terrific race, up 10 places already. He's closing in on Moretta. This is going to be ever so close up to the line. The Mercedes in the second here has a much better run. He goes to the apron. It's going to be ever so close, but it's actually Moretta. He takes it by 4/100ths of a second. Roots got close, but he needed a few more meters in order to make it. Stuart Musselwhite, he's going to be too far behind, especially considering that the driver ahead has got the slipstream of John McConville. And Robbie Bouchon as well is about to approach line. He's going to be the winner on his debut, remember, in the bronze category. Although he is only, he's 7 seconds ahead of Scott Malcolm, but terrific result for Bouchon there. And perhaps he is the favourite for the championship. Difficult to say. I think also there's some very good jazz, especially Dries Moulsty, who had issues out there. But could be a very interesting championship in that bronze category. And of course, Nick Sherman's one out of the silver drivers as well, 8th place overall, and in the end was well clear of the rest of the silver drivers after issues for David Fuller in there.
Yeah,
so
trying to see if I can get back the moment Schurman's cross the start finish line, which was missed. Here it is. Amongst all the close fights we had on the start-finish line, but now we will get a big replay as we wait for the... all the cars have come home safe and sound, so in just a second, after we show Nick Schurman's cross the start-finish line, we will go through the final race results. There, the slowdown as well, the slow motion, because we like to do things the right way. Here we go, final race results for... Nope. Just a second.
This is what the media day is for.
Yeah,
Obviously,
exactly.
any issues we can iron them out for round one.
And here we go.
Awesome. Last man losing odd wins out. 7 seconds clear in the end of Chris Warner. He really seems to be the fastest driver out there on the circuit in the early stages. Maybe just a bit of tyre wear, not quite sure, but Van Liesenhout got stronger and stronger as the race went on. Kevin van der Slik finished in third place, 17.5 seconds off the lead. Just about beat his teammate Job Van Utert in the end. PJ Clayton's good drive from him, 11th to 5th. Lewis Ward finished in 6th. Then there's Marvin Amonts, Nick Sherman's, and Ewan Marshall and Danny Crowes after issues for him. Still recovers a very good 10th place. It was only 1/100th clear of Seb Herber. I don't think we saw that run across the line, but super close between those two drivers. Matthias de Teach was in 12th, Chris Maritza in 13th, and then Ian Reids, who, by the way, to William Bush, he is a gold driver, just wanted to match his teammates, I believe, as we chatted with him earlier on. So he finished in 14th place and 13th out of the gold jars. David Fuller was second place out of the silver drivers, but a little bit detached after 3 spins out on circuit. Behind that was Anton Dupin, Neil Cooper, John McConville, Stu Musselwhite, and Robbie Bouchon. 20th place for him, and top of the bronze drivers. Behind that was Scott Malcolm, Stephen Castrop, Rob Thiessen, Jochen Lennartz, Thijs Berg, James Hobden, Dion Phillips, John Barnes, Chris Miles, Dries Mujdi, Stephen De Wolf, Bod Boland, Lee Deemer, Ben Thanes, Brian Holmes, Ben Mears, Pim Bow, Tom Methrall, Ronald Moons, William Bush, Tyler Lugo Bickery, and Gregory Franks. A lot of retirements out there. Out of the 42 drivers who started the race, only 28 finished it. So quite a few casualties out there in the field. It was a high attrition rate, and but still some very high quality driving, and the racing looks on the most part very strong. We might be proven completely wrong when we have a chat with a few of the drivers in a second. And well, who are we gonna have a chat? Well, Mark, seeing that I totally denied you earlier on, the least I can do is give you first dibs on who you'd like to chat with now. So, I mean, it's away to you.
The race winner, Martin van Loosenhoord, should be with us.
Hello.
So
Yes,
welcome.
I am, I think.
Yeah, welcome back to the booth and congratulations on another race victory. This one doesn't count for points, but certainly it was an interesting race. I think you played the waiting game in the first part, and then after the pit stops you were in front, you really put the pedal to the metal, and you ran away.
Well, yeah, honestly, I just couldn't keep up with them in the beginning. So it was just, I think, a matter of consistency, and maybe the car got better um, after my car was almost empty. So, yeah. And then again in the pit stops, I had to fuel less. I could do one more lap, so I had less fuel to put in the car. So the pit stop was shorter, and that brought me in front of him. So yeah, and then just pushing it to the limit. I had no sleep at all.
So, well, we already talked with you before the race, so I will go straight away into next week's first round of the season in Spa-Francorchamps. How are you feeling about that, considering it's also going to be a night race into the daylight?
Yeah, night into daylight is new for me. I mean, to start a short sort of race, I did the 24 hours with Boris and Jeroen, but yeah, so it's going to be exciting, I think. I think that the track temperatures will go up a bit, but I don't expect too much, so the grip will be there, and I expect high, quick lap times, and yeah, I think Spa is just an amazing track, so yeah, I think the Ferrari is going to do quite well on it, but I think the Audi will have the advantage still, and maybe the Mercedes with Chris Warner in it.
Well, Martin, congratulations. Thank you very much. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
yeah, thank you guys for covering this first round of the series. Um, thank Ian Reids for this series and all the guys around him. Want to thank my team, my teammates for showing up and for being there, and for supporting. And also UGX Racing Simulators, RB Skillworks, and Uitert.
Awesome, Martin, and we shall catch you next week.
See you next week.
And that was Martin van Loozener. Who are we going to get next, Sam?
I think we will have a chat with Kevin van der Slick because he finished on the podium. Did Kevin third place? And Kevin, that was quite a fantastic battle you had with your teammate Job out there. You two just seem to be having a superb duel for the 50 minutes.
Yeah, that was fun. I probably we overtook each other like 20 or 30 times during the whole race, and actually in the first half an hour we were trying to manage the pace to the guys in front of us, and hopefully we drove a little bit away from the guys in the back. But at the end, in the front they were too fast, and in the back they were too slow, so it was just two of us, and then. Yeah, luckily I came on the third step on the podium, and he didn't.
Absolutely. Were you two chatting to one another at the time? Because I always think whenever I'm commentating on teammates racing amongst each other, if they take each other out, then there's got to be some awkward words. But you two seem to keep it very clean throughout.
Yeah, we had some chat going on during the race, like oh I'm gonna do something, so you have to like little bit back down, and then I can not overtake him in the slipstream. But our fights go way back in the days. We raced to each other like when we were 15 years old in the real life, so we know each other for a long time. So we know each other racing lines and the behavior. So we know we can put a good show on throughout the whole season, and I'm looking forward to put it on the sim as well.
Yes, definitely. And looking forward to the season, would you say today has been particularly useful in preparation? Would you say maybe you've maybe shaken off any cobwebs, or maybe this race has just allowed you to relax a little bit going into the season?
I think a little bit of both. This is a track where the slipstream is a big priority. So you see like people maybe in the top 10 that normally drive in the top 20. So yeah, of course, Mart is fast. Everyone knows that, so he probably be on the podium in Spa as well. But Daytona's not my track, definitely not. And Spa is a better suit for me, so I'm definitely looking forward to that one, and might looking up to another step on the podium.
Absolutely. Well, we certainly wish you the best luck for that one. Kevin, is there anyone you'd like to thank or any shout-outs you'd like to give before we let you go?
Yeah, like always, the team, Match Esports, and of course you guys for covering it. And yeah, thank you, Job. He probably be upset now, but again, I'm on the top, the top of the end. But it was fun. Hope you all guys enjoy watching it, and hopefully you can put another show on Spa.
Absolutely. We're really looking forward to it. Thanks, Kevin, for having a chat with us, and we'll see you in a week's time.
All right, thank you. See you next week. Bye bye.
That was Kevin van der Slik, of course, for Match Racing Esports. I was about to call them Racecraft Esports there, but that would have definitely been wrong a few months
learn to drive, learn to race.
Yeah, dear, too many. Hopefully this one will stick for a little while longer.
They always have very
Marco,
cool liveries, so that
yes, we can't complain about that. Who would you like to have a chat with next, Marco?
Marvin Amans, of course, and he is a driver that we have seen a lot of, in the beginning of the season, last season. Then took a break, and now he is back with a nice finishing result. Hello, Marvin.
Hello, Marco. Hello, Sam. Good evening.
Well, nice to have you. Nice to have you back racing with us.
Yeah, I'm happy I'm back. yeah, I saw all the races last season after Imola when I quitted the series for some reason, private reasons. But yeah, I enjoyed all the races. My team did great, and yeah, we just trained a lot for season 5. So yeah, I'm happy Media Day is done, because then we're counting to next week.
And what about next week then? Are you feeling confident about Spa?
Yeah, I think we're very quick with the Ferrari at Spa. We have a great setup. Kevin and Martin did well for prepare the setup, so now it's get used to the car and used to the track in racing conditions. So we will do some racing stints in this week.
What have you been doing in the time between last season and this season? Have you been racing official, practicing, taking a break from my racing?
Yeah, the break was there after I quit it. Well, the last race I did was at Imola, I guess. And then I take a little break, but then I started to practice only in the officials. And I did 2 weeks ago in the 24-hour series at Le Mans. I did a lot of races in the HPD, and I turned up my I rating back to 3,000. So it's great now.
Awesome. Well, it has been a pleasure to having you here, Marvin. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank especially Ian. Had a good conversations with him last season. I will thank the whole team, Job, Danny Cruz, Kevin van der Slik, Maarten, everyone who's on the academy. They're learning a lot, and I want to thank all the sponsors and especially you guys. Thanks for covering this new season again.
Thank you very much, and we shall catch you next week then.
See you next week. Have a good evening. Bye bye.
That was Marvin, Julian, and Mons, of course, for we have Match Racing Esports again. There are quite a few of them, safe to say, for this season. I think we're going to have one more interview, and we're going to have a chat with Ian Reids once again. And I mean, we don't chat for a couple of months, and we chat twice in just a couple of hours. But Ian, congratulations out there. I mean, up 10 places, and you were, I think, in the first 40 minutes even, you were up even more places than that. I mean, you were making some rapid positions up.
Yes, I was. I hope you guys enjoyed that, because from where I was sat, it was possibly the most enjoyable race I've had as part of the league for at least 2 seasons, because I was in the thick of it for the entire race, and some incredibly trusting drivers out there. Not one single contact between myself, Chris Moretta, Chris Miles, who battled for practically 45 minutes of that race, and to be beaten by Chris by 5 thousandths of a second over the line for 13th and 14th was amazing. So I hope it came across to the viewers and for you guys, because it certainly was enjoyable to race in, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's great to watch for us. We certainly saw that very close finish across the line. But you must feel confident then in terms of your race pace, because in qualifying, I think a little bit maybe underwhelming in 24th place. But surely going into Spa, even if you don't get the best qualifying, you must have confidence that your pace is going to be much better in the race.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like Valentino Rossi, me. I'm a race day man. I'm not a Saturday or a Friday man. I'm a Sunday man. Yeah, I'm not great at qualifying. I cannot put a lap together. I'm not as quick as some of these guys, but my race pace is always consistent, and that's where I always make up places. And you guys have seen me race at Spa a few times now. I always have a good race at Spa. I've probably jinxed it now, touch wood. But yeah, Spa, one of my favourite tracks. I'm not fast, but I can be consistent, and I just love that track. Me and that track seems to gel for some reason.
Yeah, definitely. And do you expect the car that you're using to be strong round Spa next week, or do you expect all the cars to be quite evenly matched?
As you know, we dropped the BOP. They seemed fairly evenly matched tonight. I'm not quite sure what the front few cars were. I think the BMW struggled tonight. It was a sitting duck on the straights. That was to be expected, but that will be strong round Spa, very strong round Spa. Expect that to do well next week. But I think, you know, we've got the right mix of cars. Dropping the BOP was a worry. Thought we'd have a 2-car championship. We haven't. We've got a 4-car championship, which is fantastic. Yeah, it should be a good season. Really looking forward to it.
Definitely. Well, thanks for having a chat with us once again, Ian. And is there anyone you'd like to thank before you let you go?
You know, just everybody that turned up tonight. I know it was a non-point scoring round, but to have 40 guys in the server at the beginning for the photo shoot and for the start of the race was fantastic. And I hope everybody had a good time. And I hope that we showed that Sim Racers World is one of the best GT3 leagues out there to watch. And see you all on the Esports Network next week.
Yes, super looking forward to it, Ian. Best of luck for Spa next week.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Thank you.
So that was Ian Reids, of course, driver for Simracersworld GT Simracersworld team, I think. But yeah, well done to him for that 14th place. So, Marco, I mean, this is the last broadcast on Apex Racing TV, at least for this season. For this series, but next week heading over to the iRacing Esports network, and I mean I'm super looking forward to round one. Today's racing was really good, but I think we're going to have even more drivers on the grid next race, and I think we're going to see a lot more competitiveness. It seemed a little bit laid back today, especially around this type of circuit, but I think Spa, a track that everyone knows so well, especially in these cars, I think there are going to be some rivalry straight away renewed from the get-go when we start round one.
And on the proper, I think, platform this series deserves, a Racing Esports Network. It will bring more viewers to the guys, and it thoroughly deserved. And hopefully, you know, I know that they don't have any problem with the sign-ups, because like Ian told us, there have been plenty of drivers who applied for the available spots for this season. But certainly it's going to be more more spectators, more awareness about this series, and I honestly cannot wait.
Yeah, it should be a terrific round. One, of course, do subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network to see the all 12 rounds of the Sim Racers World GT Championship. And also, of course, we have a few other broadcasts to Apex Racing TV on that channel as well. Also, of course, subscribe to the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel. Also, like our Facebook page and check out our Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch pages as well. And also, I haven't really given it a plug all day, but this isn't the only Sim Racers World GT series. This is the Pro Series. It is the only broadcaster series. But on a Thursday night, every Thursday night, following the same calendar as this, we also have the Evo League. So that is pretty much free to enter, dare I say. I think it is. And certainly do check that out. You can, search Sim Racers World GT into Facebook, and I'm sure you can maybe join the group and find out some details, or you can, of course, look on the website as well. Of course, simracersworld.com. So certainly recommend checking that out, and hopefully we'll see you back on the iRacing Esports Network for next week. But for now, from me and from Marco as well, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.